I'd like to ask Lucy Dunn, who is the president of the Orange County Business Council, to make an introduction. Lucy, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor today to introduce Lenny Mendonca to start off our presentation on the Constitutional Convention. I'm thrilled to do this because the Bay Area Council actually presented to OCBC several months ago some of their initial ideas in a slideshow, and I think it started the impetus for more talk on this. And Lincoln Club has wonderfully convened us all to hear a much broader perspective. Lenny is a director and senior partner in the San Francisco office of McKinsey & Company, where he leads the firm's knowledge department. He's on the Shareholders Council of McKinsey, its board of directors, and he's the chairman emeritus of the Bay Area Council, currently serving on the executive committee. He has helped lead the council in efforts to seek reform through a limited constitutional convention. He's received his MBA and certificate in public management from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. He holds an AB, magna cum laude, in economics from Harvard College. Lenny lives with his wife and 2 daughters on Half Moon Bay Coast, south of San Francisco, where he is the founder and owner of the Half Moon Bay Brewing Company. So a full-rounded, full-spectrum man. Welcome, Lenny.
Thank you, Lucy, and good morning, everyone. I bring regards from Jim Wunderman, the President and CEO of the Bay Area Council, who would very much have loved to be here today, but unfortunately he has laryngitis. And if you know Jim Wunderman, there is no way Jim's going to show up at a meeting where he can't talk. So he sends his regrets, but he can't be here today. I'd like, before I start, to first and foremost acknowledge and thank Michael Capaldi, the Chairman Emeritus of the Orange County Lincoln Club, for organizing this event and bringing together so many great partners, groups, and individuals to be part of this conversation. We've had a lot of interactions with Michael over the last few months, and we know him to be one of the most insightful and purposeful individuals that the Bay Area Council and our consortium of colleagues have had the pleasure of working with around the Constitutional Convention. The intentions and efforts behind the convention are better than where they started, thanks to Michael. So, Michael, thank you very much. So I'm here briefly to listen and discuss a little bit with you some thoughts on a very serious and important issue, the future of our great state. And I'm here to ask you to consider a possibility of a way forward. First, briefly, the issue. I don't think I need to remind all of you that our state, California, with all its bounty, promise, and opportunity, is in serious jeopardy like never before. Sadly, it's failing our children, our communities, our businesses, and ultimately, it's failing you and me. One day in the not-too-distant future, you may be forced to ask yourself the tough question: are things so bad here that I need to pick up and move to Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Texas, or some other godforsaken place? It's hard to believe, but somehow our great state has fallen from grace and is rapidly becoming the 7th largest economy in the world that is at the same time the laughingstock of the country and the world. For those of us that live, work, and raise our families here, it's more than a concern. It's a problem that's becoming more pervasive each day. Consider this. People used to come here searching for the best chance at the American dream through our world-class education system. Somehow it's gone from being the best in the country to just about the worst. California was wide open and accessible with free and open avenues for commerce and transportation, and now we have the worst traffic in the nation in Southern California and the second worst in Northern California. Due to our missteps in the energy crisis and the regulatory response to it, our businesses are literally trapped here, facing some of the highest energy costs in the nation. The state's line of defense and public safety in its prison system are disintegrating, and our formerly open and abundant water system is threatened due to a core lack of action. The dysfunction of the budget process that we've all witnessed in the last couple of years not only cost us tens of billions in delays, it's imperiled our credit rating, which affects all of us who are in the business world each day. And recently, unfortunate circumstances in the legislature have also resulted and are likely to result in the loss of literally billions of dollars in federal stimulus money that we should have had access to. And finally, without even knowing the full extent of the damaging impact, governance in Sacramento sees interest groups control everything. It's resulted in some of the highest tax rates in the country and generating some of the worst outcomes now but into the foreseeable future. Let me personalize this a little bit with just 3 anecdotes that happened to me in the last week. My nephew, who's in his 20s, just completed community college in Central California and was working really hard to get into Fresno State. He got admitted, got an apartment. First day at school he showed up, he got a notice. You're one of the 1,000 kids that we're turning away because we can't afford you, so he had to go back. My daughter's best friend from high school was a student body president. Earned her way into Berkeley. She's a senior. Her mom came to deliver her some stuff this week. She said, "Mom, can you just drive around for a little bit?" She burst out to tears in the car because she's not going to be able to get the classes she wants and probably can't graduate. Had dinner with a friend last night who's deeply involved with Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. He told me that this year they turned away 400 kids with 4.0 GPAs and almost perfect SAT scores who wanted to be engineers. They had seats for them, but they couldn't afford them. At the same time they turned away those 400 kids from Cal Poly, 400 more people got admitted to the prison across the street. Now, like my father would say, this ain't right. Something's wrong. We can't let this happen. And while we may disagree to varying degrees on the level of dysfunction to which our state has fallen, I think there's little disagreement upon surveying the facts that California has fallen quite far from its potential history and past legacy as the Golden State, the gold standard and the most desirable place to live in this country. Okay, enough about the bad news. The good news here, and there is good news, is that we as citizens are resourceful and have strength in numbers. We have the means at our disposal to remedy the failings of this state. We can make life better for ourselves and countless others less fortunate than us and our children and grandchildren. Although there may be several paths to do this, there's one that I'd like to talk to you about today. Thomas Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence that our government derives its power from the consent of the governed. And whenever a government becomes destructive to the governed, it's a people's solemn duty and right to alter it. I submit to all of you here, it would be wildly irresponsible of us as leaders in our own right to sit idly by as the place we care so deeply about and has provided so much for so many degrades and gradually disappears. With my whole heart, I truly believe and humbly submit to you that we have both the power and the prowess to remedy this current state of affairs in California and restore its greatness, which we can all benefit from. And that's why we're here today. For me personally, I come to this discussion as a fourth-generation Californian. As a professional capacity, I'm a senior partner in McKinsey, a global consulting firm with offices in 54 countries, 4 in California and 1 in Orange County. I live in Half Moon Bay, where I've been for 20 years raising my girls and running that little microbrewery that Lucy mentioned. I've just finished my term as chairman of the Bay Area Council. We're an organization made up of the 275 largest employers in the 9 counties surrounding the San Francisco Bay. The CEOs or senior executive of those organizations are our members, and together have over almost $2 trillion worth of sales and employ 4.5 million people. The Council is a public policy organization that looks to Sacramento as a partner to secure many of the changes that we believe makes life so valuable and attractive in our state. Last year, when a group of us were in Sacramento, it became clear that no changes were coming to the important areas I mentioned: education, transportation, the manufacturing tax credit, other policy areas we'd worked so hard on. In the face of this complete intransigence on such critical issues, we realized that policies were failing to maintain the state's position as a top talent magnet, business and investment center, and a place that any of us wanted to live. Furthermore, important changes wouldn't be forthcoming until all that was not working in Sacramento for the people was reformed. Our members became resolved to do